I have been asked about the Oklahoma City bombing and whether there was any kind of a federal cover-up. The simple and direct answer is yes, unquestionably. A federal cover-up beginning in 1995 and continuing to today. I could understand when Clinton was in office the attempts to cover up what happened down there. But I cannot understand why this administration is giving that bombing a pass. There is no question that the Oklahoma City bombing was a part of a state-sponsored attack on the heartland of the United States. There were prior warnings. There was a man involved in the Ryder truck with McVeigh. That man was seen to get out of the truck and run away with McVeigh just before the explosion. That man was a former Republican Guard intelligence officer in Saddam Hussein's army. Now you tell me, when there's 12, Jana Davis, who was a reporter down there, has some 22 affidavits from people who saw these two together, including before, during, and after the bombing. I interviewed personally 7 or 8 of those individuals, and I'll tell you right now, there is evidence that you could prove the Iraqi involvement beyond a reasonable doubt in a court of law. And every bit of that evidence has been developed by Jana Davis, not by the government, not by the FBI, not by anybody else. And now that you're hearing that they may have had prior warning on Atta too, that they deep-sixed and refused to pass it on, the whole thing is just a cesspool. And who do you trust? I don't think there's anybody in government that can be trusted anymore. I was originally convinced, well, there's really something here it should be investigated, okay? And I made attempts to reach various people in government trying to get it investigated. Nobody cared. Nobody cared. Senator Specter had Jana come out there ostensibly to show what had happened and to get an investigation going, and now I understand why they call Senator Specter the Undertaker, because everything he starts, he buries. And he buried that investigation so well. He just took the word of the FBI when they faxed him a pack of lies. He just assumed that Jana was wrong. He never talked to the individuals. He never talked to the witnesses. None of them have ever talked to the witnesses, and for very good reason, because I don't think Jana will let them anywhere near the witnesses. She will refuse to identify the names or addresses of the witnesses that appear in her book, The Third Terrorist. I know them. I've talked to them. I've met them. And I know that these people, they're just good, decent, honorable, honest, American, hardworking people who got caught in the switches. I remember one of them saying, I just wish I'd gone to the FBI before the bombing. Now in hindsight, I know what they were up to, but I didn't know then. And and nobody cares. They're out there screaming that there's no Al-Qaeda connection to 9/11. That's nuts. The guy who was the Republican Guard was driven down by one of the people in Boston, driven down so he could integrate into the Oklahoma City area. After the bombing, when he left the Oklahoma City area, he went back to Boston and went to work in food services at Logan. Now you tell me if there's a connection. By the way, you will find, if you get into this, that in August of 2001, Mohammed Atta and Moussaoui both were in Oklahoma City at the same motel at which the bombers stayed in 1995. There was an eyewitness that I talked to that saw them filling the Ryder truck with diesel. This is after they, when they were on their way to fill it up. They hadn't filled it up before then. We have an eyeball witness that the Ryder truck was sitting in the parking lot of a motel, and that the patrons complained because of the smell of fertilizer and diesel fuel. They had to ask him to move it. We have an eyewitness who saw this Iraqi sitting in the driver's seat, or the passenger seat of the Ryder truck as they left to blow up the building. There were all kinds of surveillance cameras in the area The FBI seized them all, and no one's ever seen any films. Nothing. Where are they? Where are they? Why haven't these witnesses been talked to? Why is the very guy who was in that seat still walking the streets? He has never been touched. You know, you wonder, why would they cover it up? Why would it be covered up? This is an attack on the heartland of the United States by a foreign power in conjunction with crazies from the local area. There were two reasons. Number one, if you'll remember, President Clinton's numbers were way down in 1995, especially in early 1995. There was grave doubt that he would ever be reelected, if you'll recall. That was one reason. The first call made to Oklahoma City from the White House, and the first question was, I hope this isn't a foreign bombing. I hope there's no foreign connection to this. That gave everybody their clue. The second reason, this attack was spun around so that Clinton could get up and say, this is what happens with these talk radio people like Rush Limbaugh. They cause these individuals to go in and do these type of things. This is the problem we have with the militias. This is the problem with the right-wing crazies. Right-wing crazies had nothing to do with this. They try to paint, even today, they're trying to paint McVeigh as the evil, brilliant genius who set this up. McVeigh was a mope. The real genius who set this up were the Iraqi Republican Guards and Terry Nichols, who learned how to make bombs in the Philippines from Abu Sayyaf, which, by the way, is a offshoot of the Al-Qaeda. Tell me there's no Al-Qaeda influence.